Hello students, you are welcome to Nunia Search English classes. Today we'll study 4th chapter of grade 11. The title of the chapter is Landscape of the Soul. It is written by Nathalie Trouvroy. Nathalie Trouvroy was born in 1975. She is the wife of Guy Trouvroy, an ex-Belgian ambassador to India. She is an art historian, means she writes about the history of arts. She holds a master's degree in history of art and archaeology from the University of Belgium. She is well known for her translated work City of Jinns, a book written by William Dalrymple. She has traveled various cities of the world with her husband. Nathalie has been imbibing the cultures of the various cities she visits. First, we'll look into the keywords of the chapter. And all these phrases and the words are related to the field of art and painting. Anecdote is an inspiring event from somebody's life. Means this is a real story, real event. Delicate realism and illusionistic likeness. They mean almost similar. Mean to paint something in such a way which is very close to the real one in appearance, and so close to the real one in appearance that it creates an illusion to the eyes of the viewer, means it creates optical illusion to the viewers. Figurative painting, the painting that focuses on the outer appearance of the objects painted on the canvas. And conceptual space means imaginary concept. Now we'll start with the explanation of the chapter. Painter Woodhousey, the opening paragraph of the chapter, deals with the painting and Woodhousey and the king Zhuangzong, who was the contemporary king of Woodhousey. So he lived in 18th century in China. Last painting, Woodhousey's last work and last painting was a landscape, and this landscape was commissioned to him by the king himself, his contemporary king Zhuangzong. This painting was given to him as an assignment because the king wanted to use that painting to decorate the walls of his palace. The painter made the painting and hid it behind the screen. He covered it because he wanted king to be the first one to see the painting and inaugurate it. So, according to his will and wish, the king uncovered the painting and admired it for long. The king Zhuangzong, he eulogized, praised and admired the beauty of the painting and the skill of Woodhousey too much. Contents of the painting. Woodhousey had painted on canvas forests, high mountains, waterfalls, immense sky, floating clouds, men on helipads, this is O-N not H, helipads, and flying birds. These things were painted over there. We could see in the painting. Magical cave. Other than these things, one more thing was there, and that was a cave at the foot of mountain, at the bottom of mountain, used by a spirit as its home. And in that cave, there lived a divine spirit. Opened when the painter clapped. Now, Woodhousey wanted to explain the importance and wanted to see the interior of that cave to the king. So he clapped. The moment he clapped, the entrance and the gate of that cave opened. Now students, we need to be very alert in this section of the chapter. Rather throughout the chapter, the reason being it is highly symbolical and highly philosophical. We know that just by clapping, we can't make any difference in the objects shown in the painting. So how the gate and entrance of that cave opened when Woodhousey clapped? Now correlate this situation. It is very symbolic in meaning. When a teacher teaches class, so teacher starts teaching the concept. It means teacher enters into the concept. He gets into the concept and moves further, means he enters. Then the students in the classroom, all students cannot understand that concept equally well. Some students are brilliant enough to grasp the sense and they understand 100% there and then. Others struggle a little bit and they grasp to 80% or so. Then some children, they need 1, 2 or 3 more sessions of the same concept to make them understand. So the students who understand at the time of teaching, it means they enter into the concept. Suppose that concept is cave. Cave symbolizes the concept, and when we start explanation of that concept, it means we clap and gate opens and we enter. Correlate this situation to this concept in this way. So teacher enters. The students who understood 100% of the concept, they also entered just behind and after the teacher. Those who couldn't understand, they remained just outside the cave and the gate closed. Now let's correlate this concept to the cave, clapping, opening of the entrance and king. Woodhouse clapped means he started to explain the symbolic meaning of that cave. The entrance opened and Woodhouse entered. Inside the cave was very beautiful, means the concept was too good to be understood. But the king couldn't understand because the entrance closed in front of the king, means whatever was told and explained and expressed by Woodhouse was not understood by the king, and thus the entrance closed. Entrance closed in front of the king. The king was too astonished to utter a word. Couldn't speak. He was speechless. The painting had vanished from the wall. Not a trace of Woodhouse's brush was left, and the artist was never seen again in this world. Again, in a reality, it never happens. This quotation, textual part, is also highly symbolic and highly philosophical. Let me just explain with the help of an example. Suppose in a market, 3 people are walking down the street at the same time, same condition. 3 people are walking down the street. One is suffering from fever. This is mid of, or you can say height of winter, mid of winter. One person suffering from fever. The other is not having socks and shoes, barefoot. And third one is on fast for last 7 days. These 3 people are walking down the street and they have to take a round and come back to the beginning point. They took a round and came back. You ask the first person, what did he see in the market? And the first person who is suffering from fever will give you the detail of all the medical holes in that street. Second one, having no shoes and socks, will tell you about all the shoe emporiums. How many shoe palaces are there? Will let you know, will tell you. Third one, who has been on fast for 7 days, will give you information about all the restaurants and confectionaries. Why so? You ask the person suffering from fever about shoe palaces and confectionaries, he will be speechless. He won't be able to tell even the single one. The reason being, their eyes were searching the things of their own need. Rest of the things, market was full of so many different things, but everything else in the market was just useless for them. Not for everybody else, for them it was useless. Now come back to the concept. Woodhouse started explaining the things, but all that explanation was useless for the king. He couldn't understand. So to the king, the painting and the painter Wu Daozi both became useless. This is the meaning that they vanished. Next is stories and Chinese education. Such stories played an important part in Chinese classical education. Nathalie Trevor says that such type of the stories, which type of the stories? The stories like Wu Daozi, Zhuangzhong and that painting. Such type of the stories find a special place in Chinese education, especially in past. They were very important because masters wanted to teach different qualities of life to their disciples and they had to take help of these stories. And we can see the Panchtantra, the Aesop's fables, bedtime stories, grandma stories, grandpa stories. All these stories, they are not the real ones, but they are full of lessons, messages, and experiences. So the same way, Nathalie says that classical education system of China largely dependent on the storytelling method. This is what she wants to tell us. The books of Confucius and Zhuangzi, these are two great educators and philosophers of China. So Confucius and Zhuangzi are full of them. They helped the master to guide his disciple in the right direction. In Panchtantra was also written by Pandit Vishnudutt. Why? He was given the responsibility of teaching two sons of the king. So he created those stories to teach them the morality of life or the lessons of life. And beyond the anecdote, they are deeply revealing of the spirit in which art was considered. So these stories, Wu Daozi and other stories in this chapter, they tell us the spirit of the art and the painting, how they are different from each other in nature. We can understand very finely with the help of these stories, and we'll see the same in the process of this explanation only, how they are different. Contrast the story or another famous one about a painter who drew the eye of a dragon he had painted. He says that now we'll compare and contrast two different stories. One is a story about the Asian art of painting. Another is the story based on the Western art of painting, European art of painting and Asian art of painting. So he says that we'll compare and contrast. So one story we are already told about Wu Daozi and his painting. He says that equal one more story is there. So you can take example of this one also. In that painting, a blind dragon is painted. And why blind? Because the painter is afraid if he painted the eye of the dragon would fly out of the painting. It's not possible. So this is also highly symbolic. Means the blind dragon symbolizes something. And that message and that meaning the painter wants to communicate to the viewers. So he says that you can just take any one of these two stories. These two are just equal. These two are the example of Asian art of painting or form of painting. And we have to compare it with an old story from my native Flanders that I find most representative of Western painting. Another story he's going to tell us, which is the example of Western painting. So what is that story? Blacksmith and the painter. So he says that Quentin Mitsys fell in love with the daughter of a painter. This is the story of a young boy from blacksmith community. And he loves a girl who is the daughter of a very renowned and great painter. The painter could not accept Mitsys as a match for his daughter. The reason was there was a difference in the social status. Painter thought him to be superior to blacksmith. Mitsys entered his studio slyly and painted an illusionistic fly. But there is a beautiful saying, students, that talent knows no boundary. Means it's not necessary that If somebody is born in the home of a great scholar, will also be a great scholar. We have many examples. Son of a great singer might not be a great singer like his father. Akshay Kumar, Shah Rukh Khan, both come from a very humble background, non-filmy background, but we know they have rocked Bollywood. They are the rock stars. On the other hand, Tushar Kapoor, son of Jitendra, and Abhishek Bachchan, son of legendary Amitabh Bachchan, they are not a match against Akshay Kumar and Shah Rukh Khan. We know that. That's why we can say talent knows no boundary. And this is what the author wants to bring out. She says that Mitsis was very good painter, but that painter was so proud and so egotist, he was not ready to accept the reality. So one day what happened? Mitsis entered his studio. He entered his studio without being noticed by anybody. And then he painted an illusionistic fly. He found that the canvas was set because the painter was about to start his new painting. So he made a little fly on the, he took the brush, dipped into the colors and made the fly on it. When the painter came in, he tried to sweat away the fly, and the fly appeared so realistic that even a painter failed to make a difference between the painted one and the real one, and he tried to make it fly away from the canvas. Later on he realized the fly was not the real one, it was the painted one, and then he understood everything. Later on he realized that the fly was painted one. The painter married his daughter with the master blacksmith. Then he called the young man Mitsis, and he gave his daughter's hand into his hand. He tied a holy knot of the two. He agreed to marry his daughter to blacksmith. The blacksmith became a famous painter of his time, and later on he became very renowned. Even we can say he became greater than his father-in-law. Different forms of painting. Now over here Nathalie is gonna tell us. She told us two stories. One is the story of Woodhousey. Another is the story of blacksmith and the painter. So the story of Woodhousey is representative of the form of Asian art, and blacksmith and the painter, this story is representative of Western form of painting and art. And now she says that these two stories illustrate, they exemplify that each form of art is trying to achieve a perfect illusionistic likeness in Europe, the essence of inner life and spirit in Asia. She says that the main focus of European painting is to paint things, they just look like the real one. Their main focus is on exact appearance of the things on the canvas, whereas Asian painting focuses on the best way of expression of the emotions and feelings. So European painting is specially to paint the outer world, whereas Asian painting's main focus is to paint the inner world, and inner world contains what? Our emotions, our feelings, our ideas. That's why these two are different forms. Over here you can see two paintings, children. The first one is the painting of a very renowned Bollywood actress, Hema Malini. The another one is the example of Asian painting. We can see the first painting, the painter is very great really. It seems as if it is a photograph, not a painting. That is called delicate realism, illusionistic likeness. Second one, this man with a pen or brush in his hand is not the real one. If you take first painting and move in the world, you will find the person whose painting it is. But the second one, you won't find such a person anywhere on the earth, because this painting is representing some emotion, some idea, some meaning is there. First painting has no meaning at all. Second painting is meaningful. It is thematic. We have to convert this painting into a message, a lesson, and a meaning. This is the difference between two paintings. In the Chinese story, the emperor commissions a painting and appreciates its outer appearance. It means Zhuangzong was the person who was having European outlook to understand the painting, but Wu Daozi represents Asian art of painting. He was not focusing on the outer appearance of the things, mountains, caves, birds, people. Rather, all these things were symbolic in nature. He wanted to express a great philosophy and meaning out of that painting. But the artist reveals to him the true meaning of his work. The emperor may rule over the territory he has conquered, but only the artist knows the way within. It means King was having his own skills of administration, and Wu Daozi was having his own skills of expressing himself on the canvas, and both were different. Let me show the way, the Tao, the word that means both the path or the method, the mysterious works of the universe. The word Tao in Chinese means mysterious ways of the universe, means how this universe, this cosmos is working, how the life is coming into form, how it disappears, how it takes different forms, how this energy is working. Everything put together is known as Tao. Tao means the theory of understanding the functioning and working of this universe. It means Tao. The word that means both the path and the method and the mysterious ways of the universe. The painting is gone, but the artist has reached his goal. Painting is gone means painting is not useful. But if you understand its meaning, then it's okay. Artist has been able to express himself on the canvas. If you understand the painting, it's okay. If you don't understand, then that painting is just a waste for you. Because the things shown in the painting are not real, beyond any material appearance, because they are not the real things in this world. They are representative of our emotions, feelings, and imagination. A classical Chinese landscape is not meant to reproduce an actual view. So classical Chinese landscape is just imagination. It is the expression of feelings, emotions, and ideas of the painter, as would a Western figurative painting. But a Western painting is real in nature. Western painting is a replica of something which is real on this earth. Whereas the European painter wants you to borrow his eyes. European painter, because if we really want to understand the painting of European form, we need to borrow the eyes of the painter. Means we have to look at the painting from the same point of view from which it is made by the painter. To look at a particular landscape exactly as he saw it, from a specific angle. The Chinese painter doesn't choose a single point of viewpoint. But Chinese painting, Asian form of painting, that is figurative and thematic. Now we can draw our own meaning. Regarding Chinese painting, we can have different interpretations. But regarding Western painting, we have just single viewpoint. Second viewpoint is not allowed. If you really want to enjoy and understand Taj Mahal, there cannot be two opinions. The building is building. If it is showing that a specific dome is there, it is there. You can't make two of the one or one of the two. You can't make changes in the outer appearance of the Taj. The way it looks in reality must be looking in the painting also. and you cannot have another meaning. If we look at the painting of Taj Mahal, you can't say that this is the Red Fort and vice versa. But Chinese painting allows you and gives you this freedom. You can understand it in different forms. We can understand with one example, like if there is a glass half filled with water. So obviously if we say that this is half filled, we are right. We say this is half empty, then also we are right. It means it gives a meaning to you. How you understand, it's up to you. Glass half filled is there, but the meaning it gives to you cannot be the meaning it gives to me or to anybody else. So we are free to interpret the Chinese painting in our own way, but we do not have this freedom when we study the painting of European form and Western form. This is what Nathalie Trouvroy wants to communicate with the help of all these examples. Then travel in it. Chinese painter doesn't choose a single viewpoint. His landscape is not the real one, and you can enter it from any point. Means you can understand it in your own way, anyway. Then travel in it. The artist creates a path for your eyes to travel up and down, then back again in leisurely movement. Means, simply speaking, let's make it very simple. You can understand Chinese painting in your own way. Let me just give one more example, students. Suppose there is a rose flower, beautiful big rose flower, and three people are looking at the flower. One is florist, who deals in selling the flowers, who is having the business of selling flowers. Another is a gardener, and third one is a priest. When a gardener looks at the flower, he thinks, how can I grow such a beautiful flower? The florist will think, if I have this flower, I'll be earning that much. And the priest, when looks at the flower, he folds and says, if I have this flower, I'll offer to the feet of my Lord. Same thing, interpreted in three different ways. This is how Chinese painting works. We can understand in our own way. But Western painting doesn't give us this freedom. This is what Nathalie Trouvroy wants to tell us. This is even more true in the case of the horizontal scroll. Now she is giving an example in which the action of slowly opening one section of the painting, then rolling it up. Actually, this horizontal scroll and all, this is a device which we find in fair and all, in shops also, which is containing some photos in it. You scroll up and scroll down and many paintings will open up in front of you. Adds a dimension of time which is unknown in any other form of painting. It also requires the active participation of the viewer, who decides at what pace he will travel through the painting. A participation which is physical as well as mental. This she is talking about the Western painting. The Chinese painter doesn't want you to borrow his eyes. He wants you to enter his mind. Because Chinese painting is giving some meaning. We need to understand the meaning, and to understand the meaning, we need to understand the thought process of the painter. That's why we have to enter into the mind of the painter. The landscape is an inner one. The things painted on the canvas, they are not the real one. They are the inner one. Means they are the emotions, feelings, and the imagination of the painter are spiritual, and they are conceptual space. Everything is just conceptual, imagination, feeling and experience. Now, concept of Chantry. This is a Chinese concept, students. This concept is expressed as Chantry. Which concept? The Western form of painting and Asian form of painting. That is, both put together are known as Chantry. Literally means mountain water. Chantry means mountain water. Shan means mountain, shui means water, which usually together represent the word landscape, and water, mountain water put together becomes landscape. More than two elements of an image, these represent two complementary poles. This concept is getting a little bit deeper over here, children. Nathalie Trouvroy is gonna tell us how this universe works. She says there are two energies in this world. Actually, San Sui and Yang Yin and all these words, they relate to the yogic process. And these things represent two forces which are driving this cosmos, this universe: male energy, female energy. We know that a battery is complete only when it is having minus and plus. Every battery functions well if it is having minus and plus poles. If both the poles are minus, it won't work. If both are plus, then also it won't work. So same way, Sansui represents two energies working in this universe: male energy, female energy. We can say plus energy, minus energy. We can say yang energy, yin energy. We can say masculine energy, feminine energy. You may name it any way, but the thing is, two energies are there, and when they come together, then the creation happens. The universe moves forward when both the energies interplay together. And what she says further? More than two elements of an image, these represent two contemporary poles. These two energies are complementary in nature. They support to each other, reflecting the Taoist view of universe. And Taoist view of this universe is just same. That is the view of two energies working together. The mountain is yang, means masculine. Yang means masculine energy, reaching vertically towards heaven, stable, warm and dry in the sun. Means nature, in nature both the energies are different. Yang energy is stronger, while the water is yin. Yin is feminine energy, that is horizontal and resting on the earth, fluid, moist and cool. Simply speaking, Nethali says that masculine energy is strong, but feminine energy is soft. This is what she wants to communicate. The interaction of yin, the receptive feminine aspect of universe energy, and its counterpart yang, active and masculine, is of course a fundamental notion of Taoism. How these two energies work together, this is the fundamental theory propounded by Taoism. What is often overlooked is an essential third element, the middle void, empty space. But Nethali says third element is required for this universe to come into existence, and that is the empty space. These two energies interplay in the empty space. Space is required to them, where their interaction takes place. This can be compared with the yogic practice of pranayama. And now she correlates the situation to the practice of yoga, pranayama. Breathe in, breathe out. This is the process, breathing in and breathing out. But sometimes we hold that, we breathe in and then hold. We breathe out and then hold. So she says that when we hold, that holding happens in the empty space where two energies are interacting. And this is the fundamental thing. This is required. If no empty space is there, then those energies won't be able to interact to each other. The middle void is essential. This is compulsory for two energies to come together and interplay. Nothing can happen without it. Hence the importance of the white unpainted space in Chinese landscape. And she says that if ever you find white and empty space in Chinese painting, it represents the empty space. This is also where man finds a fundamental role. What is the role of human being over here? In that space between heaven and earth, he becomes the conduit, means medium of communication between both poles of the universe. His presence is essential, even if it's only suggested. Far from being lost or oppressed by the lofty peaks, he is, in Francois Chang's wonderful expression, the eye of the landscape. She says human beings are most important creatures on this land. They are the best representatives of this nature so far. The reason being, human beings are the ones who give birth to religiousness. I'm not talking about religion, religiousness. Through yogic practice, they try to bring two energies together, yang and yin, and there happens the true religiousness and the religion. Human beings are capable to bring God to earth. They are capable to make both the poles interact to each other. They are capable to support masculine energy and feminine energy to work together for the progress of this universe. This is how the universe is going on. Very deep concept, students. You need to be extra visible, extra vigilant when you are just studying this chapter. Very deep concept. So this was the chapter, dear students. Now we'll talk about the theme. The chapter revolves around the theme of art of painting told through the help of various stories. The author presents two instances of paintings to show the beauty and difference in the perception of paintings. One is the story of Woodhouse and the painting, and another one that Master Blacksmith meets his Quentin and all. He gives example of figurative painting and realistic painting. She gives, over here we have to just make she, because Nathalie Trevor, she is female, so she gives example of figurative painting and the realistic painting. Message she wants to give us is that the emperor may rule within the kingdom, but the artist is the only one who knows his painting within. It means different people have different skills and they can be appreciated in their respective fields only. So this was the lesson, students. I hope you got the concept. That's all for now. We'll see you with the next video. Till then, bye bye. Take care. Thank you.